friends. It's a little later today. It's been Sabine with Beanie Bits. Um, Today was a busy day. Holy cow! But it's all good. So my question today is, well, it's not really a question. It's more like a statement. It's pain is inevitable. Suffering, however, is optional. And for the longest time, I mean, my whole life I've been in pain, physical pain, mental pain. I mean, whatever pain you name it. And for a very, very long time, I was suffering to go along with that. And until a friend of mine looked at me and she said exactly that. She said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. When are you deciding to stop suffering? And I first was like, what? No, I mean, I'm in pain and it hurts and I'm miserable and all of these things, and I went all down all this road and all the reasons why I'm suffering and why I'm staying where I was staying in the pain and the misery and all of that. And she looked at me, she goes, yeah. When do you stop suffering? And I looked at her and I said, well, I don't quite understand. So how do I stop suffering? And the answer was, is like, you decide. It's like, what do you mean you decide? You know? So, and I was very much stuck in victimhood mode during that time. And she looked at me, she says, what benefit are you getting out of the pain you're in? And of course, I was like, I ain't got any. There's no benefit for me whatsoever. I mean, I'm miserable, and it's just like it's just awful, right? She says, no, you're getting some benefit from it. Once you accept that, then you can move forward. So the question is like, what benefit are we getting from the pain we're in, from the suffering? you know so she made me actually sit down and write out a list, and at first it was I was kicking, screaming. I just didn't want to, because I was like, I was so miserable. I didn't understand. So she made me write down all the benefits that I was getting from the pain I was in. It didn't matter, it was physical pain, emotional pain, whatever pain. And I sat down, and it was really interesting, is like, once I started and I allowed myself to open that door, oh my gosh, guys, it just flooded. It's like, try it, sit down. What are the benefits from pain? And an example is, you know, I a lot of times I used the pain as an excuse to get out of doing things that I didn't want to go, or do, or go places that I didn't want to go to. It's like, oh my God, I'm so hurting and I just can't. Um, so yeah, I use it as an excuse. The other thing was, is like, well, I was getting attention, right? Who doesn't want to get attention, right? There's better ways to get attention, by the way. So I wrote them down, and before long I had a list like a mile long, right? So after I had that, I had a really good cry, because and the more I wrote and the more I released, the bigger the tears were and the more they were flowing. So it's all good, right? So after I was done with that, I called her and I said, okay, so now I have this blessed list. Now what do I do? And she says, now you go down this list one by one and you say, thank you. I love you. I no longer need you. I release you. Thank you. I love you. I no longer need you. I release you, with every single item on the list, but not just like, you know, monotonously, like da da da, just to get it done. No, you really go in and you look at this and you call whatever you wrote down, you call it by name, and you say whatever it is you wrote down. Thank you. I love you. I release you. I no longer need you. Done, right? And then at the end of that, I took that whole paper and I did it in a sink. So do it in a safe place, however you want to dispose of it. I burned it in the sink and then I flushed it down with the water. So and released it, right? It felt so good. And yes, I had a really, really good long cry, because I felt such a release and relief that it was just amazing. So when you do that list and you really go down step by step, and you really release it, you don't just say it, but you feel it. It is so liberating. It is so liberating. I mean, the pain and everything didn't stop overnight. It could, you know, but over time, whenever it came back, it's like, wait a minute, I thought I released you, right? So you do that and it's like, oh. And then I decided I don't suffer anymore. If there's physical pain, well, I take a Motrin, right? And it's just really how we shift our thinking on these things. We can continue going down the woe is me, poor me road, and continue getting the benefits that we're getting from it. But the question is like, is this really serving you? And with my thing, I mean, I thought it was serving me a great deal, but I stayed in the pain. That's the thing. It's like, but once I release it, it's like, you know what? Those are not real benefits. I don't really want that anymore. And little by little, I'm getting better and better and better and better. It is so amazing. It is so amazing. I can highly recommend this. Write that list down. What are the benefits that you are getting from the pain that you're in and holding on to the pain? Why are you holding on to that pain? What are you getting out? Is it attention? Right? Find a better way to get attention. Go out, serve the community, right? Get attention that way is so much better than getting the pity, poor pity you kind of attention. So yeah, it is so good. So again, pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional. And I don't want you to suffer anymore. Do the list. Let me know how it works for you and then what you notice over time. So that's it for today. And I will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm celebrating because tomorrow's my birthday. Woo, woo, woo. So anyway, this is it for today. Mwah. Have a fabulous one. Bye.